Yes.
OSHO number 4. This is called Overcoming the Deceptions of the Mind. And before I sat down to read, it's like, I don't know.
Oh,
I
I
was
know what
thinking
you mean.
about how I was like, this is too simple. Not that it's a problem, but I was just thinking, what are we doing reading a book this large when I'm like, I feel like I'm already, these techniques are very powerful and they're real. I'm like, what is there to what is there to be discussed? And he immediately addresses it. And I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. Let's talk about exactly what's coming up for me.
Did you feel called out?
No, because I didn't really come at it from the question of like, how is it possible, like skepticism, but more so just how he was addressing the simplicity of it and also the complexity. Um, I felt that that was a direct response or energetic relationship between how I've been feeling about it, which is there's only so many words that we can use to discuss the techniques or the experiences or what's happening in them or what's occurring. He does a very good job of it. Um, but it's almost like, in Gene Keys when you and I say to each other, if there's if it fades, it fades and we'll let go. And I was like, for some reason, this morning, maybe it's cockiness, but I'm like, I think that we'll see what we talk about. Maybe nothing. Maybe I'll share this piece and you'll have one thing, and then we'll say, okay, sayonara. See you next time.
Let's go practice. Do it. Do it.
You should
He's
do
like,
it.
stop talking about it. Just do it.
How did that land for you?
Well, I feel called out over and over again by him and just the teaching, like just the writing and the words and simplicity. And it's so true. And I think I find my own arrogance in it.
Mm,
So, yes, I might not jump into the technique, but right away, but I would
mm,
try it and I would tease. I find him challenging me.
mhm,
And I like to be called out by him. It's and every time I do, and this happens, oh, this is the number 4. So each time. And every time I do feel called out, I'm facing my own ignorance of course I think this is easy. Let me just sit and feel. And then as I'm feeling the breath, I'm only feeling the edges of my lungs and I'm feeling the nostrils and the throat. And I was like, okay, well, I am there. I was like, no, that's attention. It's
mhm,
not awareness. But what is awareness? And then I would start thinking, oh my God, I'm inhaling oxygen. And somehow I'm transforming this into CO2. What? And then I would kind of get wrapped into the mind of thinking the entire process. But it's such a truth to face that I'm almost like, I find myself being embarrassed. I like the process. I really do. Like, I find myself being embarrassed to think otherwise from what
mm.
he's saying.
And are you comparing to past experiences? Because I know you've done Vipassana and the trip you did in Greece and a few other where it's like the scope is larger, the challenge is more difficult, like silence for such a long period, sitting still. Did you compare or what was like What was the point of arrogance? What was that based on?
All the knowings of the mind.
The concepts? Yeah.
Yes. And, at some point he writes later on in this and says, yeah, you
Mm.
will stuff your mind with everything.
Mhm.
Mind wants it, wants it, wants it, wants it. And then, I just went and then I kind of took I wash my face with ice cold water. And then I was thinking, wow, and I pride myself on knowing so much.
Mhm.
And then I was like, how arrogant. And can I face and accept the arrogance too? And then you know how a lot of these concepts, techniques that we try no matter what, right? Even in a sacred sexuality, even in tantra in general, when we go somewhere to be taught something, how he explains is like it's the mind to the body, but it's not even that. To me, I really loved the fact that all my like, okay, all my attention kind of sits in the mind of what I know, to bring the awareness down into the body and soma, which is very much process, 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 feeling, feeling, for it just to not be, just to be another layer of the onion to peel
Mm.
off, to get to nothing. And then I wondered, have I ever, even in a small little gap, experienced that nothingness or standing in front of it, so much so that I was afraid of it to never do it again?
Mm. What do you think? Have you?
I had the desire to disappear on a level that was not my mind and my body. And it was the desire only in the intimate moments of the merge that I couldn't explain. And I think you and I kind of shared that we kind of have the same similar ways when it comes to dissolving everything that I know of,
Mhm.
not only myself, my personality, but also almost the desire to be.
Mhm.
And then it got me thinking, the mind will want what it knows to reach. That's why we push forward in life. But if there's nothing to reach, would my mind want it at all? Probably not.
Mhm.
But what about the other part of me that it's unknown to me? Will it want it? Will it move towards it naturally? Will it flow towards it naturally?
Mm.
And the answer is yes. Why? Because there is some sort of allurement that it's unexplainable.
Mm.
Did I lose
Yeah.
you?
No, I mean, in a way. But yeah, I think it's like, what's your relationship with the unknown? It's a little bit of that.
I think it shows up. Like, I don't know what it is in my mind. It
Mhm.
shows up where, and the techniques like Vipassana help bring awareness to my mind that
Mhm.
it's possible. Like, you know how he writes about once you understand that death is certain, then you
Mhm.
will no longer fear it. Once once I dissolved in that day 6, I think it was like once I realized or I was able to dissolve the boundary of my skin and kind of almost like become a powder that everything just passes through and I can kind of drive the mind this way, that way, this way, that way. And it was just so weird. Now I know it's possible and I'm no longer afraid of it. But I can
Mhm.
only know that so far. And my mind can only go towards something that already experienced, which is that this solution. But there's this layer of me that it's much deeper that can only be experienced at the moment by now of my awareness or capacity. He touches love as well, that essence of this almost not even desiring, but being seduced by something larger than you that will just
Hmm. Yeah, he says, if I kiss you, you feel my touch, but how do you know
I
my
love
love?
it.
It's such a subtle thing. It's so
Yeah.
subtle. So I think like these techniques, they offer a space for subtlety, for our subtle nature, for the deepest nature to emerge, or for us to remove the onion layers and become aware. Um, he also mentioned it's available to us right now. So like the beggar, like we have habits that we bring with us from our past. The beggar who's been begging for years and years and forgot that they had everything at home already. They're an emperor. Someone comes to them in the street, says, "Just go home, you're an emperor." And they're like, "Well, I've been begging for so long. How can I?" It's a perfect metaphor because it isn't typically we approach enlightenment or higher consciousness awareness with this idea that it has to be struggled to receive, or we have to shed layers and karma and all of this. We typically associate with work, or that it's somewhere out there, it's something external, or it's far away from us, or it's up high. Um, and that's all just illusion.
What a smack in the face. You know, have you ever heard someone say, I'm healed? I
Not very
healed.
often. Yeah.
I hear it and see it.
Mhm.
I did so much work and I'm done with it. I've done a lot of work on me and now I'm good.
It's a scary state to be in. Or to be around that. I just imagine like you walking away. You're like, okay, bye. Are you
But
alluding to because there's no like state?
mhm.
Hmm. Yeah, it's more fluid.
And it's more what the mind says it's a problem. And you just work on it because mind said it and you're going to do what mind say rather than really. Oh, I love it.
Hmm.
Rather than actually shut up and do it
Yeah,
and do nothing. Shut up and do nothing. Sit with that.
yeah. It's pretty profound when when you're able to witness a conversation that someone's having with themselves about their healing process. They often already know what to do, but and if you kind of point them towards that truth for themselves, they'll bring in, they're like, well, I had this happen to me, and I mean, I haven't yet healed this part, or I haven't done this yet,
Mm.
or I don't have time for it, or when this is like, it's like your mind is like, we're gonna get all the ducks in a row first, meaning, do not leave me. Don't leave me alone. Don't let me die. I think it's just like the root fear that's running the show from that standpoint, from that control center. Um, and I and to me when I read this, I'm reminded, I'm like, I was for the longest time I was doing this. I was like externalizing enlightenment and truth and then over time I started to adopt this language of like in listening to Osho for a number of months, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start using the language like it's not out there, it's not separate, it's not something to be attained, it's something that's available. And just kind of going through the motions of saying it, but not there's like layers of belief that have to settle. And now I'm at the point where I'm like embodying it, I feel. And maybe this is just another step in the evolution, but where I feel it deeply in my being, where that's like that is the truth of my answer. If someone were to ask me, like, what is enlightenment? Like, it's available to each of us, and it's far more simple than we make it out to be. And if you can find silence, and if you can achieve a state of bliss, whatever that means to you, um, if your mind goes quiet in some activity or after some expulsion of your energy, after you dance and you're exhausted, after you sit in silence, if you're sipping a tea in the morning and watching the sunrise, whatever it is, I think many of us have tasted it. And whether it's a fear response and the mind's craving, the mind's desire, I also think of in Gene Keys and talking about our genetic programming, like the desire to continuously not only create but participate. And it's almost like some of these techniques are a death of participation. Yeah, participation. Participation.
Participation. I love it. Do it right.
English is my first language. And and yeah, that is just it's present. It's like it's just part of the experience of being human, and allowing that to be as well is just another piece of the touching the depths. I think that's what's so profound about it is when you touch that space, it isn't just bliss. It's like very closely, like if you're in bliss, like right behind your shoulder is this like looming, if you were able to, see it, it's like there's anxiety, there's fear, there's the fear of death, there's worries and all of that. So you can instantaneously come out of that, come out of your state, and then jump right back into the mind or even just what's happening in the body. And it's like this is known, familiar, and then this is unknown. It's vast, it's void, it's endless.
Have you experienced this?
Just in how I described it.
You experienced it this way?
Mhm.
And when?
Most recently, after the last dance, I pushed through trying to move as much energy as I could, and then it was like all of a sudden the music, they typically will end and try to do like very soft meditative closing, and I sat in that like sweat pouring down my body and was just blasted into it. It reminds me of though I haven't done DMT, but when I hear people talk about DMT, it's like with mushrooms and with other things, you can kind of like play in like diffusing the body and like leaving your experience. And with DMT, it just launches you into it, and that's what it felt like. I was just like there, and it was really peaceful, very blissful. And then, yeah, my awareness of how easily I could just start thinking, um, got to pick up the kids, or am I in someone's space, or just the mind starts running, and then I'm like, stay, because it's not like it's pulling me out. It's just like this is familiar. Do you want to come back? And you'd think like bliss would be sexy, but like somehow this is more sexy.
And when you say you're just catapulted out, does that mean you just left?
Mhm. Um, More like just blurred boundaries.
Mm.
Yeah.
When you come in LA, I'll take you to Venice on ecstatic dance.
Yeah.
And they have it here every Sunday. For 12 years, they've been doing that. And
Do you go?
I just went a month ago, like a couple of weeks ago. And it's very, such states bring me tears to eyes,
Mm-hmm.
where the two, it's like you cry because something is so beautiful
Mm-hmm.
happening and you are so aware of it. And you know how you say your awareness is behind it?
Mm-hmm.
I find that so like, and then you start paying attention to it. I love the differentiation that he brings up here. It's awareness is different from attention.
Mm-hmm.
Attention is, like almost like
Yeah.
ex external or pointed,
Mm-hmm.
focused, rather than awareness is just like you can hold many different attentions, many different, mind can be in many different layers of self at the
Mm-hmm.
same time. And that is also very Vipassana. It's like you can split your mind in many points and
Yeah.
be all of it, which I thought was so cool. Like I can multiply my mind, my attention.
Mm-hmm.
My mind is that powerful that it can multiply as I say so, as I direct it. And I'm aware. I am aware. It's not my mind. I then become aware. Something in me becomes more aware of all these points that mind wants to kind of reach and put the grip on.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been going to ecstatic dance every week now. And it's becoming clear to me because he has something similar, one of the later techniques, which actually it might not be in this book, but he said he went through the tantra and all the techniques, and then he added some of his own, I think, just a handful, because he's like modern young adults, modern like they have so much energy that they need to get out. And it could be like the Pluto and Capricorn, too much structure, too much control, too much, yeah, rigidity. Um, but I find like the more I do it, the more I'm like, dance is probably my technique. It's 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 a really powerful one, and if I can like, and I can feel in the process of dance how the mind will be like, um, you know, start to come in. It's like, what are they doing? What are they thinking? Are you like, how are you interplaying with the group, or what's this person? Why are they looking at you, or what's happening here, or that guy seems kind of odd. Like, should they even be here right now? And the more like in the dance, what I felt this last weekend was, let me take that and make like use it as energy. Like, okay, my mind wants to participate, create. Let me instead bring it back to the body and then move it around, or send it out, or bring it in, or pull it down, or push it up. Um, and it's been a technique that has worked well, because every time I settle into the meditation after, it's like I said, I'm like catapulted. Like the boundaries just shatter. And I'm like, wow, this is like really right here and right now. And with breath, with some of the simpler techniques, or the less the less involved, maybe, is I find I can achieve states of peace and stillness pretty quickly, but there's not enough. there's not enough there, and maybe this is, I'm sure OSHO would have something to say. There's not enough there to pull me completely out of, okay, now get back to work, or okay, um, you have things to do, or okay, let's take your stillness and then go hug the children so they can feel it. Like, um, and I was thinking about this too in this one, the time, because you mentioned sitting in the morning for an hour. And I'm like, every time that I'm presented with like the challenge of meditation, I just don't like having a time expectation.
Mm.
I'm like not interested. And then I'm like, oh, am I being stubborn or arrogant? Or am I missing out because I'm not able to get an hour? Um, what were your thoughts about
And you're
that?
saying because the time becomes agenda, and because there's agenda, there's no sense of I'm not going to do it anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, same. But I find myself I find the jumps of my mind jumps. It's like boom, one thing, boom, the other thing. It's like it jumps real fast. I can't catch it. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
look at the weather today's, you
Mhm.
know. So this morning I was like, I'm just gonna do my cryo sticks for my eyes cryo sticks, and I'm gonna meditate.
Yeah.
And I found myself laughing because while I'm sitting and meditating, let me just make sure like kind of like massage my eyes. And I did it. And as I was massaging, I was like, oh my God, this is so cold. It's so good on my temple. And I was like, let me see how long I can do this. But it's like my mind really, really wants to do five things at the same time because it
Yeah.
can and because I allow it.
Mhm.
And, five is not enough, then I want to do seven. And, I can do it because I'm kind of productive and I feel alive.
Mhm.
And then I really like to trap myself like that. I like to trap myself to aha moments and I laugh and I'm kind of like really proud of it, you see?
Mhm.
And I will do anything to be proud of everything that I'm doing rather than just actually sitting and not doing anything.
Yeah.
I literally focus on the bread. It is so wild that the mind is organizing and orchestrating our entire life, and we know it, and we can't do it. We can't do anything, right? We can't unless we actually sit and make. I love it. I love it. I feel so stupid in the mind because of it. That's why it's like I'm halfway embarrassed, and now I have to deal with this embarrassment. I'm facing myself and my limitations that I am totally imprisoned by.
Mhm.
And I'm sitting in this tiny little prison between my ears. And I'm really thinking I'm doing a lot to evolve, yet I'm not.
Mhm.
Ah,
Yeah. I
and
appreciate
it
your honesty because I resonate.
and yeah, and then I laugh, and at least I got a really good laugh out of it. Because really, when was the last time I laughed that good?
Yeah.
Hmm. And I think I was like, oh my God, these cosmic jokes are so good. Like, really, the comic club with me and me. I love it.
Mm.
I highlight more and more in a hope and plan strategy that I'm going to come back to it and read it again.
Yeah.
Because I want to feel this self-embarrassment. I don't want to feel a little healthy shame about my own practices that are actually very fake. And they're pure mistakes and failures. And I want to be able to kind of take it. You which, by the way, brings so much humbleness in me, just being human, being here, and really trying really hard to go against such power that got me here at the first place.
Yeah, right.
It's like, but you know, there's nothing in the mind. If you follow what it tells you, you're gonna get yourself where you are right now. So many problems, the menu of things you have to do. It's like, when does it stop?
Yeah.
And it stops now when you decide to do something about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm still yet sitting here spinning in circles, really trying to do everything other than nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I love when he said exactly that. He's like, why do we, did he say the word trust? It's like, why do we go back to the mind when it's gotten you where you are now? And typically, he's talking about how people approach him or approach religion or spirituality like, I want change, I want transformation. And then they're not willing to do anything about it. They're just in the chase. And the point being, like, you're using the mind to try to do something to get out of the mind. It's like you're just wrapped up and it's just wrapped up in itself. And an interesting thought that came to me when I was reading that was because I've been having um hard to put this into words, but just been having change occur in my life, and I hesitate to claim ownership of that change, to say that it was because of something I did. Um, I feel just as much impacted, involution versus evolution. I feel just as much impacted by the random occurrences of life or the solar storms or how you introduced me to astrology or the music I'm listening to or any of that as much as like my own desire for change or my own like schedule for like, okay, let me approach the deepening of my mind through this organized path. All that to say, I really feel good in my life. Like I really feel like very positive and quite abundant. And in reading what he's talking about, like, look where the mind got you and you still rely on it. And I was like, oh, things are going really well. And I don't really feel attached to very many things. I'm, I still have attachments for sure, but in a global sense, like if I think about where I'm at and all the pieces that are moving around and how active I am, I'm I'm not holding on to anything too tightly anymore. So I think just from the sense of self, I'm just learning to relax, release my grip a little bit. And yeah, not sure what else there is to say other than just feels good.
As a result. And you know, how he said in the beginning, surrender is the hardest thing to do. And that's just like, for starters, you build the you start figuring out where your awareness is, you're growing that capacity to be aware of what is happening, and then acceptance and stuff, all the list of other things that we have to learn how to do simply. And then you start letting go of all kind of letting go of what used to be safe, concrete, predictable. And you slowly open up to space,
And
unknown, and space. Almost like So you tell me, as a result of letting go of the grip, what did you gain?
Space.
And what do you do with that space?
I feel like my ability to create is more easily accessed, and it's broader than it ever has been before.
Right? S- Out of that space, then now you have an abundance, as you said. You know, when someone talks like that, like what you just said, oh, I'm good.
Hmm.
I feel really happy, satisfied, and content. My life is good and abundant. Often, right? It feels like if automatic judgment comes in, it's like, oh, you really are? You have way to go first. Or second, am I good? Right? So there's this like automatic response to someone else saying such things because they're very triggering to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But when you really tune into what you're saying, if somebody who feels similar, not the same, similar experience, they will actually welcome you in it. I don't know how to explain. It's like they'll hold your hand and say, can't you see
Hmm.
abundance everywhere?
Hmm.
Like it's almost like so dearing to welcome someone or to kind of meet someone in that space. Not welcome, I've been here, I've been waiting for you to show up, rather than kind of meet at that level, like unite at that level. And I can't help but think of such an intimate connecting, relating as something that comes down really into pure beingness or like only in a moment. And I don't know how else to feel this other than when we become so intimate down there below or whatever up. So much so that the timelines shrink just to the present moment. And I think it's almost has that quality of I'm here right now and you happen to be here. We're sharing the same abundant space. We're very much aware of it. Now, what we're going to do with it? Let's just merge closer, 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 closer. And when we merge closer, 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 something happens for us to blend where you no longer have control over it. That's that allurement that I'm talking about. I can only experience this in the essence of love,
Mm.
not in a daily to day lives, yes, but only that essence, that taste of love, capital L, not I love you for your intellect, for your body, for the sex, just that essence of love and being able to love. That's my point of reference, shall I say it, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I was able to be breathless. You took my breath away just
Hmm.
by being you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And why do I love you? I love you this much because this much I have available inside of me.
Mm.
And to experience you as my own potential to dissolve, I love you even more for it. Right? It's like,
Hmm.
yeah. It's really like it takes the breath away. And funny enough, he goes back in the last one that says, when you don't breathe, when your breath is not present, when your breath is taken away, your mind stops.
Mm. Mm.
So I love that you are abundant and happy.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's funny because Carly was kind of the pioneer for that. She's regularly kind of held that stance for a long period of time. And I was the one that was judging, bristling, or being annoyed by it, or saying like, it's because of it's because you don't know these things, or it's you're so sheltered that it's whatever we story we create. And now that I'm the one, or now that I'm joining her on that sandy, lovely beach, um, it's funny because like having conversations with people, just friends or acquaintances, and if they ask how I'm doing, I'm more rebellious now to just say it, like, so good. And people just they don't know what to say back to that. And it's funny because like when people are really not doing good, they think I'm joking. They'll laugh and be like, ah, I know what you mean. It's hard. And I'm like, no, like honestly, doing really, really well. And then you just can feel this separation, this gap,
Mm.
because there's no shared understanding at the moment. And it's just moment by moment. Like I think OSHO says, we all have the capacity to be there. It's just what we're attached to, what stories the mind is telling us about the prison that we're in.
Mm.
And even the prison that you talk about with having seven things going at once and not being able to escape out of that. I even want to question, like, is it a prison? Or is there stillness somewhere in the center of that activity? It's just there, right? It's just a moment. So,
Mhm.
do you feel that in speaking about how you feel most deeply love when relating with another, do you feel that as you grow in your awareness, or maybe as you mature in your understanding of yourself, that you can access it across more space and time? I and how I relate to it for myself is my early depictions of love are like needing to be so close all the time, like always cuddling, holding hands, kissing. And then as I grow and mature, it's like now I'm like, I can see someone from across the room. Doesn't matter the gender, doesn't matter how they're dressed, doesn't matter what they look like. And if there's like some level of intimate connection or a shared experience, then it's like my heart blossoms, my heart blooms. And maybe it's illusion, but it's been happening to me where I'm aware the mind says, okay, go pursue that person, go find out who they are, what they're doing, what their name is, et cetera, et cetera. Create the attachment so that you can have that, grasp it, bring it in. Um, but it's similar to in the techniques of meditation when you're have bliss in front of you and the familiar behind your shoulder, the old stories. It's so vast, and this is an unknown, and this is familiar. It's like when I'm relating with another, the familiar thing is to approach them, to start a conversation, to touch, to pursue. And then the unfamiliar thing is to just say, interesting how we're connected, and there's so much space. And can I stay in this space and let that connection expand? Let the similar to touching bliss, like let that expand. Let the boundaries expand, what that means. So I guess I was asking you a question. Answered it for myself, but I'm curious about your experience, if any of that resonates.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Whenever you feel connecting, there's this like point where you just either get curious or something else from that person or soul stood out for you to go towards
Yeah.
out of 100 other people. Do you feel naked in your soul in front of that person? Naked, truth, like completely naked, shut off of all your identities, all your selves, everything that you ever were, became, like you're no longer even Eric. Do you feel absolutely, totally naked,
Mm,
vulnerable?
mm. I'm not sure.
And why I say this is because I understand it as I can be alert on a many layers and levels of me. I can be seduced by the intellect. I can be seduced by a bodily flesh. I can be seduced by words and sounds and music. But I'm only seduced in that area. And I'm
Hmm.
curious there. So I go there. I kind of shrink size myself, and then everything else is not important. I am connecting to you on that level of
Hmm.
me. But when you're naked, that's why I think intimate romantic, there's no other way for me to explain it. When you have this explosion of superpowers or magic in you that combines all the layers of you together, and it's just towards one person. That, in Richard's way of explaining, is that bondage that you have. It can be familiarity, but even when you meet the soul that you know from many other lifetimes, that you don't really feel this like almost like allurement for deep romantic intimate. It's just like, oh, I've met you from somewhere. It's deja
Hmm.
vu. It's like it's still a shrink part of you that comes in to connect with that person. But when your whole of self comes in the sense of, we don't know how, I don't know how else to call it other than love. I feel the other part of you has met itself. The other
Hmm.
side of you has met the complete opposition that you were not aware of, as if now I became a whole.
Hmm.
So, in that whole, out of 8 billion people, it happens to be you. I feel I can be naked. And when I am so naked in front of you, I completely get rid of everything that I know of, just to merge.
Hmm.
And in that merge, I think is where we evolve much more
Hmm.
because we're able to experience that surrender, speaking just my experience, right? So, and then in there, you leave the body, the mind, the past, the future. Something so powerful happens. I don't know how else to think of this other than the Big Bang. Why an entire or essay or plethora of neurons, there were just two that met to make the universe. I can't do it without the other, but that other may be complete opposite from everything that I know of. That's why we mirror one another. That's why I see in you something I'm yet to discover about myself, or you're showing me something. I need to, why are you, why not somebody else, right? It's like there must be something way more of our comprehension where I'm seduced to become naked, to learn how to be my whole. That comes with both sides of everything, dark and light, right? So it's like, but I can, for a moment of that, surrender to you and trust you without saying anything, closing my eyes, closing all my senses, all my selves
Hmm.
to become something more than just what I think I am in this prison. That's why I think love is so powerful. An ability to love. Yesterday I was in a group chat with my astrologers, which is like 100 of us. It's insanity. It's like it's just like you almost like it's so fast. But we were talking about. I was wondering, does love stop? And when you stop loving someone, does it evolve into something else or does it just disappear? And love as such, does it create a new part of you that evolves you, that is unknown, that you now are becoming and taking more space with? Or is it, like, where do I have capacity in this right moment to surrender? In what I know, and in what I feel, can I learn and grow my capacity to surrender more? I can't find it anywhere else other than in the essence of love experienced in the moments. And when that essence shows up and comes in through you, you can, like you said, it's like I feel so abundant of it. Like I feel more and more of me. It's coming and almost like disappearing, so big that it disappears. I can't see it anymore. It becomes that air that I'm no longer conscious of.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think my mind does want to explain, understand it, and I'm lacking the good explanation of it to satisfy my mind, which is also really cool. I hope I never get satisfied in it. And because that hope now exists for no satisfaction, I have nowhere else to go than to create out of it because it's wondrous.
Hmm. Right. Yeah, I found your analogy of the soul being naked, like just quite different. I've never really contemplated from that angle before. Um, yeah, and I'm curious, like I have questions, but I'm also wondering, is my curiosity just an attempt to create structure where there isn't one that's needed? It could just be your experience of how you relate to another, how deeply. Because of course, I'm like, I don't know if I felt that, and then I'm like, am I missing something? Uh, it could just be your experience, and it like maybe on the one hand, maybe you're able to reach such depths that not everyone can, or maybe it's just how you experience it, you know. Who knows? But
Hmm.
have you, how many times have you felt that?
Over and over again, as
Mm,
long as love is alive. But what is love? What do I love about you? Do I love you for your intellect, body, mind, or soul? Or am I actually loving me? I I just assign it to you.
yeah. So, and like you said, you typically will feel it as you're approaching one frame of what could be like the whole movie, right? So like the intellect in that setting, you're hearing their mind and you're like, something's clicking here. But then you don't have the full picture, but you are still able to, in that single frame, you're still able to feel like stripped down. Or is it after you get a bigger picture? Just curious.
Yeah, good, good. I mean, there's no picture at all. The moment the picture comes, an agenda of what we're gonna do tomorrow and light up the cigarette after this, whatever, it all is gone. Like if
Hmm.
your mind is faster to get there, because it's gonna want to push through this like bubble. I almost feel it's a bubble of a space that you enter, and you're almost like on a cloud, literally on a cloud, levitating. in this space where you no longer know where you end and the other begins, right? And but I'm talking such a far, far, it's not even far out there in another space. It's within me. But I no
Yeah.
longer know. I close my eyes. I no longer talk. I hear the breathing. I'm concentrating into what is happening in the body. It's very almost awakening. I feel the aliveness. I feel these fires and cold feet and all the mixture of these cocktails. It's like, it's this, if, and how the colors can blend and become this like almost play and dance. And then I'm able to allow someone else into the space and not and feel, like if you were to touch Carly on her shoulder, would you know where she begins and you end? Right? Would you be aware of it? Would you tune into such a moment of experience in that right moment? It's like not to think much, but rather than to welcome it. It's like almost like an ecstatic dance, as you
Yeah.
mentioned earlier. It's like when you tune into the sound and you close your eyes
Hmm.
and you start like just moving the body, your body becomes limp, right? It becomes spaghetti. You become less and less structured, less and less stiff, and almost like you soften so much that like you lose the strength in the body. Like you want to just, like there's no controlled move. You don't care, do you look nice anymore? It's just it's very much like dissolving the perfection. And I don't know how else I'd explain. And I know what you mean by like when you kind of lose yourself so much so and in the dance of it. But until we have a mind is part of our body too. So the
Yeah.
two kind of blend in that sense of being together. And did we read it here or somewhere else? I can't remember. When the body is just there waiting for the mind to come down into it. And it's, so gracious and forgiving. And it's always the same exact thing. Come, experience yourself with me. Let's see how we feel together.
Hmm.
And uh, my heart just skipped a beat. And when I read him, I'm always like, oh, I'm so young in all of this. Like I'm so innocent in thinking I can run my whole world. And yet I'm just at the beginning stages of it, right? It's like figuring out what mind is, what is awareness, how can I
Hmm.
kind of brand it, and then dropping into the body slowly. To me, it's like this is just a layer 2 out of 5 million that I started. So, it's almost invites this self-patience and softness to kind of not be so serious. And I think also that's the progress, the cosmic jokes, the laughter, it's all allowing in a present moment to realize something about yourself, to come to the realness of, oh, being human is so humbling. Oh, so humbling. I want to put up a
Hmm.
Christmas tree and sit there and be like, oh my God, I love the sparkles. This like innocent, childish joy of just kind of really making life so hard unnecessarily.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a deep realization of that in the last ecstatic dance. I'm like, Eric, you're too serious. Like anytime the mind chimes in, like you're just being serious, just let go. Because ultimately, anything my mind has is just to make it more serious. And outside of that, it's just play, just playing. And when I can play, I can let go and I can dissolve and become loose. And then the music's moving me, and then all of a sudden I'm laughing, just, yeah, feeling very joyous. Yeah,
Do you guys
too
do you guys do
serious.
it on a beach?
No, it's covered, uh, wooden floor. There's a stage with a DJ, and then sometimes, depending on the DJ, they'll have, a live drum or this last time there was a electric guitar, which
Mm,
was interesting.
nice.
Sometimes there's like trumpets. Yeah.
Mhm. Ours is on the beach. We look quite crazy.
It's on the
And
beach.
it's on the beach and it happens for 5 hours. And then
5 hours.
it catches the sunset
Yeah.
and it's a silence. So you have a headset, you're in your
Oh,
own
okay.
world.
Hmm.
And then nobody knows what's happening outside. It's right at the beach in Venice here. And nobody knows what's happening other than us.
Hmm.
And people pass by and they're like, what the hell? Last time we had LAPD literally driving a helicopter chopper above, went down lower and circled us around it, thinking it's, kind of just saying, hey, hi, we got you covered. And I cried. I was like, it was such a moment
Feeling
of
the wind.
almost like support in many ways, a
Yeah.
sense of support and security and safety from LAPD chopper. It's like, what? And they kind of just circled us and we just looked up and we all waved. It was just, but imagine looking from outside, nobody's saying anything. They're just,
Mhm.
it's total silence and this like masses of weirdos kind of just dancing. It
Mhm.
was just too wild. I would open my eyes and we all went towards the sea. And as the sun is going down, it's just too wild. And I just kept thinking, I was like, this is nuts. This is too crazy. It's like so good.
Yeah. Oh, I love when it gets too crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the at this version, there's quite a lot of contact dancing.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. It's have you done it before? Do you know what that is?
I mean, this, when you're like
Uh, yeah, with other people. Yeah, yeah.
touching is,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't done, yeah, no. I don't mix my sweat unless.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just part of the like you expect to see it, but it's completely optional. I don't really have a desire to at this point. Carly and I will mix sweat every once in a while, and it's mostly like I go to her when I'm like too serious. I'm like, I need to go have more fun because we'll run into each other and we'll get in these really awkward positions, and then I'll just laugh. And I'm like, okay, now I can have fun.
I love it.
Yeah. So
Mm.
the
Oof.
next the next talk, there are 5 techniques.
Not the next. We're still on 4. Can I ask you about this? Where are you
Yeah,
going? Come back.
I thought we were.
No. But can I ask you about something here that I was curious. Um, he's talking about the end, certainty of death. What do you have to say on that?
Death feels pretty certain to me. I don't know.
Does it?
Mhm.
So, is it like done and you're healed from fear?
Oh no, no.
I'm healed.
Yeah, are you asking? So like, are you asking about my conceptual awareness of death or my fear and when it comes up or where it comes up or
Oh, yeah, does it creep up to you?
hmm at different times. And usually I have to kind of trace it back. Like if I get really like if Carly has the kids out, this hasn't happened in a while, but and typically she's home at 2 o'clock and then it's like 5 o'clock. Then I'll just be sit if I'm working or doing something, my mind will play out a full scenario of car accident. And then I have to catch myself in it and be like, okay, if it happens, it's like my mind plays out the scenario so that I can learn detachment. But then I'm like, okay, yeah, is this detachment or is this my own fear projected out? And I kind of have to like play with it a little bit, and or my fear of being alone. But I think it's rooted in the the fear of death. That's just one example. The other times would be like, yeah, it just creeps in when like swimming in the ocean sometimes. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's not gone. When I was
You're
flying
not
planes,
healed
it was
from.
like a daily thing. It was constant.
Oh, seriously?
It was probably unhealthy. Yeah, looking back, I'm like, I think my nervous system was completely messed up, completely like constant
Don't you
fight or flight.
don't you have to, aren't you supposed to lose it actually as a pilot?
Well, I think they disassociate, and that's why many pilots are pseudo-alcoholics. They will, when they're not on shift, they will get madly drunk. Like it's most pilots. I
What?
think it's compensation for the constant traveling, switching time zones, but also like, you're if you concept if and this is where I don't think it was a match for me. It took me too long to figure out. But conceptually, you're like, okay, 250 bodies on board at any moment, things could go wrong. And as a pilot, you're tasked with having protocols in place for every emergency, knowing exactly what to do. And then you're constantly being tested, examined, and running through these emergency situations to be safe, yeah, but also like, as if you're sensitive at all, then you're holding this other side, which is I have all these lives on board, even my own life. This is, and then you're being shown how it's really not quite safe as it seems.
Hmm.
Um, Relatively speaking, like for what it is safe, but when you know all the things that could go wrong and how little it would take, like just a bolt not being tightened or, you know, and I think as you get into the bigger planes, it does get safer. Like the unsafe part about small planes is you're typically low to the ground, which means something like the engine goes out. You don't have a lot of time to pick a landing spot or to find an airport. When you're like 30,000 feet up, you have like 20 minutes to choose a landing spot, to contact emergency services, to play out things. Plus, you have usually multiple engines, so you can kind of still keep the plane flying. So yeah, it's
Too
like a
much anxiety.
threshold. I know, even talking about it, like if I can feel my
The
breath
nervous system.
coming up. Um, but it's kind of like a filtering mechanism for good pilots because you want pilots who can disassociate to some degree because you can't be holding, you can't be anxious and flying every day. You're not going to be the pilot. You're not going to be keeping the cabin calm. You're like, we'll see
So
if we make it today.
so to disassociate means that so whatever. That
Yeah, it's just like it's
great.
and from doing parts work, if you took a pilot, you could probably find some part where they've just completely severed the fear that they will mess things up. I don't think yeah, I don't know. I don't know the exact statistics, but I would imagine alcohol is a much more commonly accepted form of therapy than actual therapy because bringing it up and bringing it out doesn't make you a better pilot in that situation.
It's legal and cheap. Cheaper.
Legal and cheap and actually socially
Accept.
very celebrated.
Mm.
You're you're like an outcast if you don't.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
but in 10 years, I don't think there will be many pilot jobs left. It'll be pretty much all AI.
Mm.
For the large part, it already is. I mean, you can, besides takeoff, once you're in the air, it's all computer controlled, even the landing.
I mean, cars are,
Yeah, cars are,
you're getting Ubered by nothing. a
Hmm.
robot. And the other day I was exiting the freeway and there was like this pile. It's like the car didn't calculate that cannot just enter into
The Waymo?
a parking
Yeah.
spot when there's a major traffic, and it just kind of held it. And everybody's like, "Dur, dur, dur, dur." It's like you're honking on nothing. It's like try
Yeah.
to figure out how to get around it. And it was just funny. And yeah. But why I wanted to ask about this because it's yeah, it's a real thing. The other day I was washing my face, right? So as I wash my face, I dump my face into this little mini ball, which is ice. And then I freaked out. I literally freaked out because I couldn't, it was just a clear, I felt suffocated. And I was like, oh my God, this totally triggered something, which I don't even know what. And it was just so powerfully triggering my system to not be able to, that
Mm.
second, it was just a split second. And then I pulled up and I was like, wow, this is new. I have never experienced this before, right? You go to an ocean, you go underneath the water, and everything is just kind of like glued to you. You can't just move. You're just holding still into this mass that just comes to grabs you. And I'm like, wow, you mind. Why are you, why are you scaring me this much? But, and then the third one, this is the last one if you want to finish, since you're in Russia, whatever. It says it is, you're dealing with my mind and it will trick you. It says it is not the distance that takes time, but the barriers.
Yeah. Oh,
I,
yeah.
I loved that one. It's like it is not the distance that takes time, it's the barriers of the mind that makes it so distancing or timely. And as you accept death as certain, you start almost like remove the barrier, the big
Mm.
barrier that causes layers and layers to be built on the top of it. And then um, you can move and slowly be aware of now.
Mm.
At this point, I was like, okay, fine. I'm healed. I don't want to deal with it. That's so good. This is such a good. Why did you decide to say yes on doing this with me?
What do you what do you mean?
I
Can't
wanna,
say
I
at the
haven't have a
time.
good reason why you said yes for this.
You want a good reason?
Yeah, give me something I can laugh.
I don't even
Let's make.
remember how you asked.
I just
Uh,
came to you and I said, I'm ready for this. You in? And you're like, yeah, let me order it. You didn't really think much.
yeah. Similar to when you asked me to do Jinkies too, and I'm waiting for you to ask me to do Blavatsky. I'll make space for that too. But I don't know. It's like I have to go in the mind to find something that's
Mm.
it's like I have to make something up. Of
Okay, let me ask an easier question. Do you think we're doing it all wrong? In all
course,
honesty,
of course.
of course. I love it. This is life well lived if you find good jokes.
Hmm. Yeah, of course. I but in my love for poetry and good lyrics
Mm.
and the stories of the great lovers of the past, I would rather engage in this than I don't know. That's I find myself in some kind of trap as I said those words. Let me position it differently. Like, okay, I'm seeing myself on the other side of something I said earlier in this talk, which is um, when people know what they should do, but then they bring in their own stories and their own method and how they have to, their own attachments. It's like, okay, we now know experience or the technique, and yet here we are discussing. Um, so why do we find ourselves in it? I don't know. I find that it's doing something that I can't quite achieve on my own, or by, it's almost like breaking down the walls that I have around what even right means. It's just providing more space, I think.
I agree. We're in it for a space. And intention was to get absolutely, utterly confused.
Right, and I'm here I am.
We're doing so good.
What am I doing?
Well, let's just keep it unknown. Good that you don't have an answer. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Ah, all right,
Like
good one.
poetry. That's my answer. Something nonsensical.
I love
What?
it.
Yeah. Could be cold water. So did you go back in? Feel it again? It was just the one time.
No, I just used the water, but I don't know why in a small pot and not in the ocean. I think something was just
Claustrophobia,
mm,
lack of
this
space.
small space. It may
And
be.
also
And this
like
is
you can't see, can't smell. You can't, well, you could hear, but there probably wasn't anything to listen to.
it was just weird, but I take it as experience. I'm not gonna make out anything about it. It was just like, wow, I am afraid of suffocation, which is the death. So, oops,
Mm,
I guess the new thing. And shall I continue to discover
yeah.
and make a story about it in the end of the day because it is frightening.
Hmm. Yeah, it should be.
But
It
I
should.
like how he outlines it's actually frightening to the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Genetically too. I mean, you're like every cell in your body wants to be preserved or passed down. Have you seen, did you see recently? Sorry, it's just like um there's like a new detailed view of the cell, the human
Mm-mm.
cell, and it looks like a very complex mega factory.
Mm.
I
A
mean that
cell.
yeah, the cell. Like that's how we understand it, but like the new picture of what it is. And it's almost impossible now to look at that and not see intelligence.
Send me. I'm curious.
Yeah. And on the other side, something that's like I find with things in technology that they offer space for contemplation, for just what's possible and like what our own boundaries are. But the new chips at the head of a needle, I have to find what it is. I think there's like I have to find it. Hold on. I'll send it to you. But essentially it's like they when they make the chips now, they have to be completely hermetically sealed. So there can't be a single mode of dust because it will destroy like the wafer, even sound vibrations. And now, because it's getting so small, like it's like 2 nanometer, 3 nanometer processes, that they even are accounting for the Earth's vibration, and they're introducing technology to counteract it so that in manufacturing there's less waste. Because if they make it and the Earth is like essentially hurts, or what's it called? Schumann resonance.
Mm-hmm.
If it's having a spike or something, then it's like all those wafers they made in that time, they're just they're gone because they're not the teeniest connections are not being made. It's just profound to think about, and that's kind of alluding to Blavatsky a little bit, but like getting so detailed, fine point into the the smallest space, and then you just feel like you can feel as you're going in the vastness of the cosmos right on the other side or holding it all together. I don't know. It's fun to contemplate.
Last night I started reading this number 4 meditation of his, and he started talking about the atomic bomb. And the smaller it gets, the more powerful it is. And then I just got this like, I can't handle it anymore
Yeah.
because I went into watching the destruction of 200,000 people in 1 second of such a tiny little thing.
Watched
And
it in your mind or you looked up
I
what that?
looked up and I
Oh,
went to bed with it. So it's like, oh,
yeah.
wrong, wrong, wrong. But in the same matter, I thought about, oh my God, everything is becoming so fast and we're not predisposed to go that fast. We can't run that fast. I can't keep up with the pace of everything around me, which means it's also the awareness that, yeah, I can only evolve in this space of mine, in this speed that the collective offers, that I offer, my awareness that I can catch up on things. I can read 5,000 books, something. It's not going to kick until 10 years from now, right? It's not going to get in my awareness. So no matter what I try, there's a pace of the evolution of human beings and souls that is already unmoldable, and everything around it moves. And then I thought, I was like, oh my God, the cosmos itself and our galaxy and everything around it, we don't actually have awareness of how we're moving and rotating the earth. Is earth moving? Is cosmos moving? What's spinning upside down, right? There's no awareness of it. We don't have a comprehension, but yet we still go in our pace. So dawn to me, it's like this technological advancement of something so profound, so fast that it's already happening might just become there, so much so that we really don't pay attention to it anymore. Imagine that. And yet we still continue our pace, our speed of evolution,
Yeah.
like literally just like that's all we can do.
Hmm. Yeah. That's a, I really appreciate you sharing that because that aligns pretty closely with, I think, how Elon has described it. If the robotic artificial general intelligence exceeds the combination of all humans, then they would have to release control of it because we can't possibly
Mm,
evolve to match it. And all we can do is set up the foundation for it so that it is his thing is like truth seeking, which hard to argue with, and
mm-hmm,
beneficent to humanity,
mm.
which those two things are those are good foundations. And we can just cross our fingers and hope that when it runs away, that we're held in some level of honor, right? Like here, you guys can have your space. We're gonna go out in space and just start to expand, do all sorts of things. And it's like you said, it's gonna be it'll be, like people will attempt to encapsulate it, understand it, mold it, put it in a frame, and it will probably pace that way for a long period of time, especially with money being attached to it. But at some point, I think money itself will also change.
Mm.
Probably around that time, our ability to conceive of what's happening will just shatter. Add on to the meaning crisis of you lost your job now. This has happened. Yeah.
And I love how you said, well, we hope that we will be honored as a species by this such a super intelligence that is way above our capacity, that we will be honored. And then I thought, I was like, the same way we honor a species
I,
of plants and the dogs and animals. And yesterday I looked at my dog and I was like, oh my God, you tiny little
have no idea
con
what it
you
means to
tiny
be
little
human.
non-conscious being. You just know from now until 7 days ago, and that's it. It's like, I love you so much. Do you understand? I'm part of your evolution. It's like, did I do a good job? Right? It's like, did I help? You see? Great topic.
Hmm.
Did I destroy you or did I lift you and supported you up?
Yeah. Did you honor your dog?
Did I honor its growth? Yes. Did
Hmm.
I honor? And what is that then, love? Like, really? What is that we can do other than actually find what we can create in the name of love
Right.
and sustain?
Hmm. So I have a hard time not believing that it will all work out. But that doesn't mean that in the same way that humans can love animals and plants, they can also destroy them or be torturous or non-loving or absent. Um, I wonder if AI and robotics will have some replicative force of that, or if in truth seeking and beneficent to humanity, they will, hello, they will see that, no, you guys have kind of dropped the ball a little bit. Like, it doesn't make sense to harm planet Earth because, you would hope that there would be that level of awareness. It's like, it's a very different future from one in which you tell AI progress at all costs, because I think that leads to the end of humanity in a very short order.
But you see, we created it.
Hmm.
What did we create comes out as a pure essence of such a benefic purity. Even our children are born with both sides. And then it comes backwards to where we come from, which is the God who we accept, or the consciousness who we only want to accept the good part of rather than see the bad part of it.
Hmm.
So aren't we in any way recreating exactly what we have?
Yeah,
So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a part of the intelligence that recreates exactly both sides and treats us the same way like we treat everything else. Ouch. Oof. Ouch.
yeah. I love that for
Hoping
that.
it's benefic. Same way like you hope your child will just turn out to be good. Good human being. It's like, but what is good and what is healthy? And where is the threshold? What is control? That's in the modern psychology, they call it a controlled consciousness, a controlled conscious or a controlled awareness that I'm about to bite your head off because you triggered something in me, but I choose not to.
Hmm.
And if I choose not to, what do I do with it? Do I leave it for later to explode in the same exact matter, even more and worse? Or do I actually start doing something inside?
Yeah.
To what? To liberate it, to release it, to honor it, to accept it, to love it. And is loving
Yeah.
me actually just loving me, or is it also capacity to love you exactly the same way like I love me? Can I love you how I love me? Because I sure love me. And I sure want to stay alive and I want to love me so much. But can I love you equally?
Yeah. I actually don't think there's separation between those two. I think how you love others is the truth of how you love yourself, despite what you say. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna cry.
Please.
So beautiful. It's so humbling to freaking be a human and have these exact paradoxes and challenges.
Mhm. Mm. All right.
All
I'm gonna go
right.
listen to Aurora.
Okay, enjoy. All right, ciao. Talk soon.